What's going on, CCM Magazine family? I'm Christian Johnson, and I'm so glad to have you with me because I have another special guest with me today. I have none other than one of the main vocalists from the awesome group Maverick City, Naomi Raine. How you doing today?
I'm doing really good, Christian. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to have you. You've been very busy lately. Like I said, you've been touring, and you're actually touring right now. So,
Yes.
thank you for taking some time out to talk with me today. But like I said, you've been touring with Maverick City, and what has this whole experience been like? I mean, I'm sure it's been kind of crazy for you the past few years.
It has. We were talking about that last night. We we have surmised that it's like we've been through a group trauma, but not. It's not bad. But when
Yeah.
things happen very fast and at that type of, I guess, at that magnitude,
Hmm.
it's stunning, you know. And so I think there are parts of us that are like parts of this process that are like, oh my God, it's so beautiful, and parts that are like, oh my God, it's too much.
Yeah.
But I think as long as we keep saying, oh my God, and coming to Him with
Right.
it, it's good. It's wonderful. I'm living my dream. So, I mean, who can really complain? I'm
Right.
having a great time. I
Well,
love
that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you look like you're enjoying yourself, even though you're touring right now. I know that
it.
would tear up some people's nerves, but though I think the worship style of Maverick City is just so authentic and genuine that it really reached a lot of people. Did you guys ever expect that it would blow up this way, or was this kind of a surprise to all of you?
No, this was a major surprise. It was a major surprise, and honestly, we didn't start off to do this.
Right.
We The first recording that we did, Maverick City Volume One, um, that was recorded in Redding, California. Myself, Chandler, and Dante were all there,
Mm.
and we. So the thing is, we were writing songs, and so you know how, I don't know if you know this, but um, when songwriters write a song for an artist, usually demo the song. But a
Right.
lot of demos are done in studio because that's how most songs are recorded. But because we're doing worship songs and those worship songs would likely be recorded live, right? Or in studio, but likely recorded live, we wanted to see or wanted to record it in a way where the artist could see how the song actually works in
Hmm.
a room. And so that was the mentality behind it. Like, okay, let's get into a room, let's sing these songs, and then shop it to the artist. But it was so beautiful what happened in the room. We were like, oh no, we have to put this out. And so
Mm.
Tony hit us up. He's the founder, one of the co-founders of Mav City, and he was like, hey, like, I think this is a thing. I think we should release this. And if people want to pick up the songs, they can. But he's basically like, you guys are the artists already. Like,
Mm.
let's just do it. And so that's how this came about. So we never went into this like, oh, we're going to be a collective. Like, we're not a group, we're a collective of different artists. We didn't come in like, this is going to be a thing. It just ended up being a thing.
Wow.
And for us, it's very shocking how people have gravitated to it. But I think the authenticity comes from the fact that we were just all being ourselves. When
Hmm.
I worship, I'm worshiping as Naomi. I'm not trying to be like artist Naomi who's worshiping. I'm just worshiping
Right.
God. Chandler, hello. Chandler's doing the same thing. He's being Chandler Moore.
Yeah.
Dante's being Dante. MJ's being MJ. Brandon's being Brandon. Everybody's just being who they are and bringing what they are to the table. And we do that in a room with each other and we encourage each other. It's like, yes, like
Yeah.
get it, you know? And so it's like this combo of this vertical worship to God, like, God, we love you so much, and
Hmm.
encouraging one another, like, get it, like, yes, worship, go. It's beautiful.
And I think that's great because I think that you're telling me like the energy, it literally transfers through the camera and to wherever people are. So you're literally telling me Maverick City was supposed to be a demo crew, basically. That's all y'all were doing?
Yep,
Wow.
songwriters and demo, like, it wasn't. People always ask us, like, is Maverick City? Um, it's not a. It is an artist. Like, Maverick City itself is an artist. It's not a label. We're not
Mm,
signed to a label. We that it's a collective. It's a group. It
wow.
was not a plan. Like, Tribal now came out of Maverick City.
Right,
That's a
right.
label, but Maverick wasn't a label, and they haven't taken anything from us. They haven't. You know how some deals that people get into are very it benefits the business over the
Yeah.
artist. That has never been the case with Maverick. We've
So,
always been treated very well. If we release a song, we get compensated very well for that. Like, it's I believe, sorry, I know I'm getting excited about this and
Are
I'm
you
talking too
good?
much, but I believe that what the movement, I feel like the reason that the Lord breathed on it, because Maverick, like we're disruptors, you know, we're disrupting the common and the norm, right? And the status quo. A lot of artists don't get what they deserve for what they put into or what they've made of the song, songwriters, all of that. And Maverick has kind of come to disrupt that. So as much as it is about worship for the people at home, it's also about a overhaul in the business as well. And I think I'm very excited to be a part of something that says, hey, why do we do it this way? Why don't we try it this way? This works better. And let's keep asking. Or why are there only people that look like this included in this category? Let's switch that up. I'm excited to be a part of something that's challenging the norms.
Yes.
So.
I mean, I absolutely love it because you guys have really bridged a gap that has kind of been there for a long time. You know, between different worship styles and different folks that worship. And we tend to only want to worship with people that look like this group or that look like this group. But I really admire that Maverick City has been culturally shifting as well as generational shifting. You know, you guys reach young and old. You know, I remember going to a concert and there was, you know, older folks there as well, just as much as young people. So when the music is that authentic and that real, it touches anybody. When you have that gift and that anointing and everything that's on it, it draws. So thank you guys for that authenticity. But of course, whenever anything is this big, there's always going to be some backlash and people saying some negative things and giving their opinions. But how do you kind of look through the opinions and the negative of man and see the positive things of God?
Well, I think that is the most difficult part.
Mm.
I'm praising God that I'm saved, and I'm trying to,
Mm-hmm.
really live saved and
Right.
not hold stuff against people
Mm-hmm.
and be disrespectful. But I think the way I do it is what I realize that people don't understand what they don't understand.
Right.
And when something new happens, people naturally don't like change. And so
Mm-hmm.
when something new is happening, there's fear associated with it because there's a reason why we did the old thing. There's a reason why we
Right.
did that. But when you can look at Jesus himself as he walked the earth. There were people that were used to a certain system, a certain way. And even today, people are still used to the system before Jesus, right? And they
Yeah.
weren't even a part of that system. We just read about it. There's
Right.
something alluring to a list of rules and alluring to like, oh, if I do this and I do that and I do that, then I'll be good. There's something
Mm-hmm.
alluring to that. And when you challenge that and say, hey, relationship, hey, actually have something with the Lord, hey, actually hear from him and get guidance for your life. And now, not just that, connect with other people and love
Mm-hmm.
other people and forgive and be forbearing, and show grace and show mercy. That stuff is difficult because it's like,
Right.
man, you need wisdom for that. You need the Holy Spirit to walk with you through that. And so for us, I said all that to say, I realize that it's easier for people to criticize and judge what they don't understand than wait and see or not speak negatively about something that they don't understand yet.
Mm.
They don't like it because they're not used to it. And I think the thing that really gets me though is when people begin to berate our character.
Yes.
Maybe they really don't, nobody really knows us. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's the problem. That's why we have to do more stuff like this, to have interviews and talk to people, because
Right.
they really don't know us. You've only known what we've sung, but you don't actually know us. Or you might see a clip of something here or
Mm-hmm.
there, and you just don't know, And so I think
Right.
this is why I think we're not to really judge, because we can't judge. We can't always judge rightly with the heart and the mind of the Father.
Mm-hmm.
But when the Holy Spirit is leading, he'll do that. But it's the people that make money off of being critical. And I
Yeah.
know, you're a journalist, so there is a part of
Yeah.
it where you want to get to the truth and find out what the story is.
Right.
And I think that there's goodness in that, but I think it can also get really ugly. And so
Right.
it is difficult, but we have each other. And I think
Yeah.
it's good that we're not solo artists going through this. We have each other. We can talk to each other and be like,
Right.
what is going on?
Well, I mean, you talk about the job as a journalist, but I think, as brothers and sisters in Christ, we've got to be understanding of one another as well. And You know, we should never try to trap each other up or look for each other to fall. And I think so many times people look for the negative instead of trying to focus on the positive. You know, these folks have brought Jesus to people that probably haven't stepped in church in years or, you know, didn't care to know God. But, you know, when you see such a radical change, I think it's always better to focus on the things we can agree on and not so much our differences, you know.
Right. I want to say, if we were preaching another Jesus, if there was, then I'd be like, oh no, like this is
Right,
not
right.
a gospel. This is not good. But Israel Houghton says it like this. He goes, you guys are already reached. This is what he says to the church. Like, you're already reached. As long as we are preaching the actual gospel of Jesus Christ and not a gospel of works, right? A gospel of grace unto salvation by faith. If we're preaching that in the real Jesus Christ, not in personality, not in emotion, and not in feeling, but in the facts, the truth, the death, and burial and resurrection of Jesus Christ. If we're doing that, everybody keep calm.
Right.
You guys are already reached. And
Yeah.
we have accountability partners and people and pastors and leaders and cover and people that are speaking into us and helping us. We're just figuring it out like everybody else.
Right, right. And it's different though, because unlike everybody else, we don't have our lives being publicized all the time or people looking for those things all the time. So, and which now finding out you guys weren't even looking for that. Y'all started off as a demo crew and look at it now. So it's amazing what God has done for you. But you were speaking of Israel Houghton. I actually got a chance to speak with him not too long ago. And he's such a great person. He's such an awesome guy, and you could just feel the love through the screen when I got to talk to him. But I saw you actually do like these car chats with folks, and you actually had him and his wife Adrian on not too long ago. And I think during that you were actually talking about getting over the opinions of people then as well. So you guys were sharing that, and I know you actually have a solo career now that you're starting off. So congratulations on that, and we'll talk more about that. So with learning what you've learned with all the stuff at Maverick City, now taking it to your solo career, do you think you're better prepared for what's to come? Or is it still going to be a learning curve?
I think there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I do feel better prepared because I realized if it was just me by myself going through this stuff, I don't think I would be able to understand. But I think it's not just me. Honestly, people don't really say a lot of negative things about me, but I've seen them say negative things about some of my counterparts, and I know those people.
Right.
And so I know that what people are thinking or saying is not true. And then I know things that nobody would ever know, that things that we're actually praying through or actually, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, they don't actually know anything. People are speculating.
Right.
And maybe there are rumors, and I know that there are people that I didn't know this before. I mean, I've seen it in movies and TV, but I'm like, people lie on you, and people do things to spread rumors because they're mad about this or mad about that. I just didn't know that was really a thing with real people, because in my mind, I'm like, everybody's going home to pray and watch Netflix, but that's not everybody's praise. People have like a different idea of what they want to do when they go home at night, and it's spread rumors and do other things that we probably shouldn't be doing. So that's my praise. I'm going home to pray, put on some comfy jammies, and maybe watch Netflix till I fall asleep, And so it's just a different lifestyle, but it has helped me navigate my own stuff. I'm excited. I think, with this new project that I put out, the Lord told me to be vulnerable. He told me to challenge even the status quo, the things that Christian people are uncomfortable talking about, so that there could be healing. And he was like, I want you to almost be the poster child, and let me be the hero of your story, not you, Naomi. And so that's what I've tried to do, and that's difficult, but I'm okay with it. It's well with my soul, because I'm literally like, you told me to do this, so it can't turn out badly. And even if it does turn out bad, I know I'm going to get a crown in heaven or something, because I was obedient to what the Lord said to do.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you do have this new solo project coming out. And of course you've been touring also. So you're a mother and a wife. So are you able to balance everything? I love to ask this question because everybody always has a different answer. But has it been a struggle balancing everything?
I have been able to balance, or I call it a juggle, right? Because I think when we think about balance, we think about everything even and equal. But when I think about balance, I think about equilibrium.
Mm.
And so that means there's ebbs and flows in it, right? But you don't topple over, or
Right,
you're
right.
not depleted. So there has been struggle in that, you know. I think about my life, my family, and my career as like walking on a tightrope. Sometimes one foot is not on the rope, you know, and some,
Mm.
you know, and there's a little wobble, but we're figuring it out. I think that for me, this is not just my calling. This is a calling for my family, and so we're all called to this, and so that means that everybody's in, you know, we're all invested and devoted to this because we believe that people need to know Jesus, and this is a way that I get to minister the gospel of Jesus Christ, encourage people's hearts. This is a family calling, so we're graced for it. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I sit on the phone with my children, and if anybody has children, you know that, like, while we love them, I don't know if we really want to be on the phone with them all the
Yeah.
time. Being on the phone with an 8-year-old on FaceTime who never shows their face, it's like this the whole time. And I'm like, can you put your face in the phone? But sometimes I just sit on FaceTime with them and just breathe, you know, and there are things that I would rather be doing, like,
Yeah.
you know, anything else. But I'm grateful for those moments as well, because it's like, you know, this is what it calls for. Sometimes we just got, today we sit on the phone and we breathe, or we play game pong or whatever, and we play all sorts of basketball games, and I lose every
On
time.
our
I'm
phone,
playing
I know what you're
archery.
talking about. Yeah.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about. A pigeon chat or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I know what
Something
you're talking
game
about. Yeah.
pigeon. That's what it is. And I'm doing that with the kids constantly, and they're like, "Mommy, I beat you," you know, and trying to be like, "Not good game, mommy, good game," but you
Right,
lost,
right.
and I smacked you, and I'm like, "Okay, you need a beating," but you know, those moments are worth it because we're called to this. We're all called to it. And, you know, I mean, if I'm honest, like the other day, my mom, she hit me up and she was like, "Hey, Savy, that's my youngest. He's having a hard day. Can you just call him and let him know? Because he misses you." You know, it's not easy. We have moments, and it's difficult, but we are graced for it. So
Yeah. Well, I'll be praying with you as you continue that balancing act or juggle, whatever you want to call it.
yes.
You know, I know it's not easy.
Oh, balancing act. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, you know, because you got to trying to get it together, right? Trying to get it perfect.
Yes.
Have you ever played Ruzzle with your children? That's something I recently re-downloaded. Oh, that's so much fun.
Russell?
It's a word game, so I'll let you know about it.
Oh, yeah, let me know. I want
Yeah,
to do that because I
I,
want something to speak their brains. I need their
yeah,
vocabulary to come up.
yeah. It's basically a word search game where you try to see who can find the most. But I'll let you know about that. I'll
Oh,
tell
I
you.
love that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Cool. So you have been talking about this album, Journey. And I know it must be very personal to you because just even the title itself is personal. So what is the message of Journey?
The message of Journey is that no matter where you go, no matter what you're going through, the Lord is with you. I think sometimes we think he can be with us or we can get on his journey. The Lord wants to be with us and wants to take us on a journey. And he is with us. If we would be aware and yield to him, he's with us. And so that project goes through my actual life. Somebody asked me yesterday, like, did you mean to, like, was it supposed to be a mental health thing? And I was like, no, it was just what I was going through. I'm not that type of person. Like, I'm not like, which is probably bad. I'm not super like intentional, like I'm going to make an album about mental health.
Right,
no,
right.
I just wrote about where I was and what was going on with me. And the Lord just told me to be vulnerable. And so I was. And I ended up with a project that was like, man, you really went through some things, but the Lord has been faithful. He's been kind. There are different parts of it. It's about relationships. It's about our relationship with the Lord. It's about your relationship with yourself, coming into the truth, lies I believe, all of that stuff. And then the joy and wonder. I have a song called Merrily on the project, which is about me living my dream and loving it. And sometimes, you know, missing my kids. And, you know, it's one of those projects. It's just like a warm, fuzzy praise. It's warm, fuzzy.
Well, good, good. So you just released the video for Not Ready recently. Great video, by the way. And can you explain a little bit about the message of the song Not Ready? I think we all go through times in our life where we're not ready for certain things, but what are you trying to talk about in this song?
So in Not Ready, it's really a prayer to the Lord saying saying that I know I need to pray. Like, so it's a
Mm-hmm.
prayer, talking to God, saying, I know I'm supposed to be doing this, but I don't know how to tell you that I'm not ready to to act. I'm not ready to
Mm-hmm.
move yet. It's kind of like the prayer of the person that's stuck or that's maybe anxious or afraid or in a depression. That's where I was when I wrote it. I was really coming out of it, and the song helped me. But it's a song of honesty, saying, Jesus, I need you. And it's like, hey, I remember you gave me promises that the bridge, one of my favorite lines in the bridge is, help me remember all the plans that we made when we were both on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was remembering moments where the Lord was like, this is what I want to do with you. This is what I want to do. And I was gung ho, but, so I started the journey. And so I went on the trip, but I got to a point where I was like, oh no, like this
Yeah.
is the valley of the shadow of death. And I'm kind of afraid of the evil. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to talk myself up. It's that's what
Mm-hmm.
that song is about. And I pray that what people get from it is that you can be honest with God about where you are, and he's still with you, and he's
Mm-hmm.
still walking with you, saying, hey, I got you. Now that you've been honest, boom, watch what I can do. Because you thought it was about your strength. No, but
Right.
my strength is made perfect in your weakness. So
Well, I think the song is powerful because it's a state that we get to that we don't always like to admit. We always know the things that we should be doing, but sometimes we got to be honest with ourselves. I'm not ready right now, and it's not until we admit that we can actually get to the point of getting ready. And I think people need to understand this. It's a part of the journey. Is admitting where we're at. So I appreciate you once again. The whole album is transparent, and you've done a great job, and you've actually been releasing some docu-series about some of the songs that you've been recording. And I think in the one, trying to think, what is it? Choosing Myself. You were talking about your battle with depression, which you recently just talked about. And during this season, it's something that a lot of people deal with during the holidays and during the winter seasons. There's always a upshoot in depression. So, what was it like for you to be dealing with that and, struggling with that, but ultimately overcoming it?
it was really difficult, and because I didn't know I was depressed.
Mm,
So I wanted to stay in the bed, and I was crying every day, and I didn't understand what was happening at first. So I'm like, what's wrong? But then there's a part of me that tries to justify, like, that's my good church girlness, like, oh no, this is normal. You're just crying because you're a little sad, and maybe you're becoming emotionally healthy. I wasn't
mm,
becoming emotionally healthy. I was in the place where I needed to become emotionally healthy. I was actually dealing with some of the stuff that the Lord had told me to deal with. And because of it, and because I wasn't trying to face it or really deal with it, I was like uncovering, but not addressing it and
mm,
adjusting and changing. I was sad, and it was very difficult for me because I didn't know what I was going through. It wasn't until I discovered what it was, and I just started to pray. I remember one time that's where Not Ready is written out of. Like, there was one time I was so sad, I literally just prayed. I think I said to the Lord, I need help. I need you. I need you.
mm,
I need help. I probably said it for an hour. Like, it's all I could say. And I just wept before the Lord. And it was something, I don't know if you ever have those moments where, like, you're crying and maybe you like look in the mirror and you're like, what's going on with me? Like, you're actually looking at yourself like, what's happening? But you feel this thing, but there's a part of you inside of you that's like also assessing what's happening, like looking
mhm,
at yourself. And I remember looking at myself, I'm like, Naomi, you have been here in the presence of the Lord for an hour, weeping and just saying, I need you, I need you. And I
right.
felt so much closer to the Lord in that moment than I had felt in years,
Mm,
and I thought that the pain that I was in was going to pull him away from me because I thought I had to be good and but that's not what I found. What I found was that in my darkest, deepest pain and despair, that he was closer to me. And so I would say depression worked out for me in that way because I discovered who God was. And if I'm honest, I had people around me that were like, Nay, you need to pray. You can't just sit here
wow.
and not deal with it. You can't let this just be.
Mm,
And so I'm grateful to God that I was able to come out of it, that he was able to bring me out of it. But I think that was because I had people around me that loved me. I was in therapy, still am in therapy, got a therapist, hello. But there was so much support that I had, and the Holy Spirit wouldn't allow me to stay where I was.
That's a mouthful right there. I'm glad you did have some godly friends to push you when you didn't want to. And we all need those folks that when we get too tired, they can kind of carry us a little further and take us right where we need to be. So thank you for that. I think that's going to help a lot of people, especially, like I said, during this time. But you recently did a show in Nashville at the Opryland. How was that?
It was everything.
Yeah.
It was a dream come true. They make you understand the weight of what you're doing. You feel the history in the place. And they have a debut room where so when you make your opera debut, everybody who's made it that was their dressing room. So you feel the this is the place for all the debut artists. It feels special, and it was so wonderful to share those songs and be in that space.
Yeah,
I'm blessed for that.
Well, awesome. Well, congratulations. Now I've got two more questions for you, and then we're gonna be done. So, like I said, the holidays are coming around. So, what is the thing you're looking forward to the most for Thanksgiving? Whether it's a dish or just being around your family, what are you looking forward to the most?
Definitely being around my family and just being able to walk around in PJs and like nothing to do that day except all the cooking. But other than that, I am looking forward to cooking. I love to cook. I love to cook. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna be in PJs all day, and even for dinner, I'm not getting dressed. We're not getting dressed for dinner. PJs, cooking, some hot chocolate, and movies. That's
that sounds like the perfect night to me. So is it just gonna be you and your husband and your children, or you got some other family coming over? You got other folks coming over too? Cool.
Sorry.
I said it's just gonna be you and your family,
definitely.
Or you got folks coming? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we got folks coming over.
Okay.
They're gonna have to bring their pajamas.
Yeah.
And jump in.
Yeah, they're gonna be the ones looking weird if they come fully dressed, right? Like, okay, yeah.
Right.
Well, cool. So last question. What is your most memorable Christmas gift? Whether it's or even just a memory, what's your most memorable Christmas moment?
Okay, I can do moment because I'm not a big gift person. Now I love, I've gotten great gifts, but I'm the type of person that I get everything for myself before anybody can get it for me. They hate giving me gifts. They're like, you bought it before I was just, or they bought it already and then I would buy it and they're like,
wow,
stop trying to surprise me. If you just tell me you got it, then I won't go pick it up. But my favorite Christmas moment was when I was a little girl. This is so silly, but when I was a little girl, we had lights. We had those programmed lights, and it was like one of the first times we ever had the lights that were programmed. And they were on. It was on a cycle, and so they would like come on really slow, and then like go off, and then they would like sparkle. And I loved that. And I think that I didn't know that, but I think visual stuff like art is really important to me. I love beautiful things. And we always had a real tree. And so at night during the whole Christmas season, my parents would leave the Christmas tree on so that we could, like, if you walk through the living room. So I would get up at like 1 o'clock in the morning, go downstairs, get high C. They had this Ecto cooler, high C. I don't even, it was silly, but it was when Ghostbusters was out, and so that little like nasty like green goblin thing was out on there, and I would like sit under the tree, laying down, looking up at all the lights, and drinking my little Ecto cooler, and just laying there, and nobody knew what was going on. Everybody else was sleeping, and I did that up until Christmas night, and got to open my gifts. So that was like my little Christmas routine that I went through. One year, I don't know how old I was, but I do know I must have been like 9 or something, like 8 or 9. And it was just special. I don't know why, but that's my favorite. When I think about Christmas, I'm like, yes, dark room, lit tree, all the lights, and my little juice. I had a great time.
Yeah, so you're probably gonna be doing it again in your pajamas, going sit in front of the tree and just.
Oh, I'm trying to find them same lights, please.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have to find some. So, and if anybody know what they yet, just put them in the comment section so we can get them for Naomi. All right. Well, once again, thank you so much. I know you're on tour, so we appreciate you for taking this time out, and let everybody know how they can follow you and check out your new album.
Yes, you can follow me really anywhere. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, y'all, and YouTube. And my name is Naomi Raine, Naomi Raine. You get all my music wherever digital music is sold. New album is Journey, and there's some other stuff there if you want to check it out.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your holiday season.
Thank you. You too.